Good morning, children. Let's continue with our seventh chapter in geography, that is human settlements. Now, in the previous chapter, we had studied about urbanization in India. Now, here in this lesson, let's study urbanization in Brazil. Now, this is a line graph. Okay, so this graph shows you the percentage of urban population in Brazil. Okay, so if you look at this graph, you'll find on the x-axis years are given, and on the y-axis the percentage of urban population is given. Okay, now on the x-axis we find every 2 centimeters is equal to say 10 years, okay, and on the y-axis 1 centimeter is equal to 10%. Now, if you look at the line graph, you'll find from 1960 to 2010, there has been a steady increase in the percentage of urban population in Brazil. So, in 2010, it has increased to more than say 85%. So, in 1960, it was around say 46%, 46 to 47%, and by the year 2010, we find there has been a steady increase in the percentage of urban population, and it increased to 85% in 2010. So if you remember in the previous lesson, we said in India in the year 2011, the percentage of urban population was only about 31.16%. So it's a stark, say, a decrease. Compared to Brazil, you find the percentage of urban population in India is very, very low. Okay, so based on this line graph, we are going to do some questions here. What is the interval of the data? We'll have to go back to the graph. So what is the interval of the data? So look at this. We have on the y-axis 1 centimeter is equal to 10%. So the interval of the data is 10 years. Okay. In which period did urbanization occur rapidly? So look at this. Okay. So from 1960 to 1970. Okay. And from 1970 to 1980, you find there's been a remarkable increase. Okay, so this period we find there is a remarkable increase in the percentage of urban population. Okay, so let's go back again. Now, from 1960, okay, to 1970, okay, so if you find we have, so in 1970, what was the percentage of urban population? It is say 50, suppose it is 58%, and here in 1960 it is 48, so 10% increase is there. If you take it in 1970, okay, and 1980, in 1980 we find it is 61, okay. In 1970, as I said, it is 57. So subtract that. Okay. So 61. Okay. And here in 1970, it is 56. Okay. But here find in the year 1960 to 1970, there has been a rapid increase in urbanization. Okay. So from 1980 to 1990, there's not been much of an increase. Okay, so rapid urbanization is seen in the year, say in this period, that is from 1960 to 1970. Okay, so in which period did urbanization occur rapidly? In the decade between 1960 to 1970. Okay, now Brazil is a country in the continent of South America, and it is one of the very few developing countries which is highly urbanized. Okay, and you'll find that the urban growth process in Brazil is very unique, and it is responsible for the present day rapid economic growth. Okay, so urbanization results in rapid economic growth. Now, if you find the percentage of urban population in Brazil, you'll find that more than 86% of Brazil's population lives in urban areas. And urbanization is more along the south and southeast coast of Brazil. In the previous lesson, we had discussed how the earlier settlers, as most of them were European settlers like the Portuguese, and they had settled along the south and southeast coast of Brazil. Okay, and because of favorable climatic conditions, the soil being very fertile, and coffee also grows well in this soil. As such, we find the soil is suited for the growth of coffee. At the same time, mineral resources like iron ore as well as energy, producing, minerals, etc., okay, are easily available along the eastern coast of Brazil. And hence we find urbanization has taken place along the south as well as southeast coast of Brazil. Now, we find Sao Paulo is a very important center here along the eastern coast of Brazil. It's a major metropolitan and industrial area. Okay, now as a result of, say, favorable conditions, and also because of the presence of transport and communication facilities, etc., urbanization has taken place along the eastern coast of Brazil, and hence we find there is a dense growth of population along the eastern coast of Brazil. And to reduce the pressure of the population along the eastern coast of Brazil, the Brazilian government has promoted the Go West policy, that is, towards the Brazilian highlands and further interior into the Amazon Basin. Okay, this policy has been promoted by the Brazilian government to reduce pressure on the eastern part of Brazil, where the population is very dense. This will also result in the development of the central as well as the western part of Brazil, and also will reduce regional imbalance. Okay, now look at the two satellite pictures here. Okay, these are the two satellite pictures. The first one is a mountainous region, and the second one here, you can see there's a landslide has taken place here. Okay, in both the pictures, we have scattered settlements. Okay, here in the first figure, settlements are along the slope of the mountains. You can find dense forests here. Okay, the second part, settlements are along on the top of the mountain. Okay, now, and if you look at these two pictures, as I said, scattered settlements are here, but at the same time there's a doubt whether these areas will become densely populated, because the first one, is a mountainous region with dense forests, and the second one is a region where landslide occurs. So in both these, regions, we find development will take place very, very slowly. Now, this is a map which shows you the percentage of urban population of Brazil. Okay. Now here on the index, we can find, okay, the colors, different colors have been used. The first one, that's the darkest one. Here you find 91 to 100% of the people live in urban areas. So along the map of Brazil, you can find Goiás, okay, then Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, Espírito, etc. are the places where the population, percentage of urban population is between 91 to 100. You can also find in Manaus, okay, this is on the confluence of the Negro and the Amazon River. Okay, then look at the last one. Okay, that's a white, is almost white in color. Okay, very, very light pink, where you find the percentage of urban population is between 51 to 60, which means this is a region of sparse population. Here you can find in Para, Maranhão, okay, Piauí, etc. These are the places where the population is sparse. If you remember correctly, this is a region of Brazilian highland, and further inwards, this is a region of the Amazon Basin. Okay, so the Brazilian highlands, of course, is a region of, say, drought. Okay, I think you remember what we had studied in the previous session. Okay, so the region to the north of the, okay, this is a region which is to the north of the Great Escarpment, where we say there's a drought quadrilateral, where the percentage of rainfall received is low. So this region experiences drought conditions, and hence we find agricultural operations is very difficult to be carried out. And further inwards, this is a region of the Amazon Basin, okay, and this is an inhospitable terrain, a region of heavy rainfall and dense forests, okay, and it's inaccessible. So because of all these reasons, we find the percentage of urban population in these regions is sparse or low. Okay, children, understood? Now, let's come over to the questions which are based on this map. Name the states in Brazil which are most urbanized. We'll have to go back to the map. Okay. So, most urbanized states are the ones where the percentage of urban population is between 91 to 100. So, you can find it here. It's Goiás, then you have Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, Espírito, etc. Okay. So, the states which are most urbanized are Sao Paulo, Goiás, Espírito Santo, Rio de Janeiro and Manaus have more urban population. Which states in Brazil are least urbanized? Let's go back to the map again. Okay, least urbanized are Para here. Can you see? Okay, here the percentage of urban population is between 51 to 60. Okay, there's Para, Maranhão, Piauí, etc. Okay. So, the states which are least urbanized are Para, Maranhão and Piauí. Okay, these are the states which are least urbanized. Okay, now let's come to the explanation of this, why the population is more along the coastal regions than on the interior. Okay, so if you remember what we had done in the previous session, we had discussed the why urbanization has occurred along the coastal regions. Okay, so along the coastal regions, these were the regions where European settlers like the Portuguese had first landed. Okay, this region has favorable climate, we have already discussed, and this region is fertile. It is used for the growth of coffee. There's abundance of minerals like iron ore, and also energy producing raw materials are here. Transport facility is very, very good, and hence we find urbanization has occurred more along the coastal part of Brazil. Okay, so states which are more urbanized along the eastern coast are Sao Paulo, Minas Gerais, etc. And when you compare it with the other parts, you find in the Amazon Basin as well as the Brazilian highlands, we find the population is low or population is sparse. Okay, and hence we find more number of people settle along the coastal region of Brazil than along the interior parts of Brazil. But Manaus, though it is in the Amazon basin, it's also situated on the confluence of the Negro and Amazon basin. Okay, it is a region of dense population. Urbanization has occurred in this region. Okay, now here we have a small activity for you. State whether the statements are right or wrong and correct the wrong ones. Okay, the first one. Brazil is one of the few developed countries which is highly urbanized. Okay, children, so you'll have to say whether it is right or wrong. Okay, it is a wrong statement. Can you tell why? Okay, it's not developed. Okay, Brazil is not developed, but it is developing. Okay, so it's a wrong statement. You are going to correct it. Brazil is one of the developing countries which is highly urbanized. Now, second one, urbanization has occurred more in the coastal areas of Brazil. Yes, children, say whether it's right or wrong. It is a right statement. Okay, urbanization has occurred along the coastal areas of Brazil than along the interior parts of Brazil. The third one, Manaus is a port on the confluence of the Negro and the Purus River. Okay, so what is that? Yes, it is a wrong statement. What's the correct one? Correct one is Manaus is a port on the confluence of the Negro and the Amazon rivers. Okay, children, so we have finished with this lesson. Okay, so in the next lesson, we'll do a bit of revision of this lesson. Okay, so children, go through this lesson. Okay, and okay, till then, there are some questions which we'll discuss in the next session. Okay, till then, children, thank you.